just started work on a new styrofoam block drawing. It's going to be based off of the EMT business-friendly characters that I've created for some scenes in recent Dan Hamming episodes. This is supposed to be a chicken parm. Dad got it from Wegmans. Following a day's work as a mailman. These are the notes I took. Of today's national security class, starting here. I in particular used this pen, which despite being pretty old still has some ink in it. It just had to get a bit warmed up. I'm not entirely sure if I'll have the exact colors for what I ultimately want to do. But this is what I have so far. And I'll keep up at it. I think the morning was spent doing, I'm not really entirely sure. Maybe watching YouTube videos and falling asleep at points. I took pictures of the 2 styrofoams I made yesterday. I moved them to where they wouldn't be here, which is where I typically take pictures of new styrofoam drawings. It's either that, primarily, or on the bed if, for some reason, I can't take a picture of the styrofoam on that shelf. For breakfast, I had a cup of cold brew coffee and then one of the double cheeseburgers that I got from Harrison Dining Hall the other day. Here's my current ferry settlement. I recently completed the last research expansion, which gave me enough space to start building the dwarven Wark, Dwarven Bulwark. And then if I wanted to, I could potentially build the mountain halls next to it. If I make some arrangements, perhaps. I'd probably have to move all this, though. Move these things. The gum tree and whatnot. Anyway, here's what my city in Elvenar currently looks like. It changes bit by bit each day. I recall at some point, anywhere from the early morning hours, though I think it's more likely I did this in the afternoon, as I was working on my week 10 assignment. I completed an offer wall task for Game Hag, which these days typically gets me 3 soul gems, but only takes me about a minute of my time, and keeps the frog transformation at bay. Then later on, during that period of time where I was focusing on working on my week 10 assignment, I ate the rest of my Harrison leftovers. Or really more like bringovers. Except for the last remaining one of 2 double cheeseburgers, which I intentionally saved for my dad. And there's nothing else after that. After my national security class, which initially started with everyone not being able to hear the professor, even after I refreshed the Collaborate Ultra meeting place due to some kind of audio problem, I would imagine. Which lasted for about 4 minutes. But we ended up talking about the different advantages and disadvantages of cooperative versus defection strategies in regards to allies. I contributed by essentially talking about in response to a question in what would make one country either do a cooperative strategy or a defection strategy in regards to their allies. I said that an important factor is to consider current circumstances, especially what the current administration of the state in question is. And to illustrate that, I talked about the United States and how the previous administration kind of shifted the United States towards a defection strategy in regards to, our European allies. And though I didn't quite know it at the time, I believe I was also referring to Japan. Or, in other words, other allies in the United States. And that, I believe I might have stopped there, but I may have also talked about how the new current administration has shifted us back towards a cooperative strategy in regards to our allies, which I think is the better strategy. Cooperating with the world is ultimately how peace is going to permanently prevail, at least I think, in the world. After all, a strong alliance should deter any state from ultimately launching aggression against other countries. At least, I think that's the general viewpoint. This helping of corn was initially so full of juice that was pretty much at the brim. And had I not sipped from it, as it was pretty much here, there's a good chance I would have accidentally spilled at least a little onto this bed. And Dad has to work tomorrow. This is an example of an EMT character, and that's what I'm basing off of to make this styrofoam. I'm just currently drawing the lines within which I'll need to color. Here's my week 10 assignment for my African politics class off of Grammarly. This is my entire answer to the first question. And the rest is my answer to question number 2. Even though, because these weekly assignments for my African politics class are due at 6 p.m., and on Friday I have my weekly Senate meeting on Friday at 5 p.m., which could last anywhere from roughly half an hour, which was the case today. I think all we did was, aside from the usual reports, in which I believe I'm often the only one to give a senator report, which this time was brief in regards to expressing support for the statement of solidarity regarding our Asian and Pacific Islander members of the Brockport community, and expressing support towards Brockport's vaccination efforts, which I believe may have contributed to Daniel mentioning that the choice to vaccinate is still yours and yours alone, which is pretty important. I would vaccinate. It's just that there's concerns I might be allergic to the vaccine. The optics of which would require a pretty lengthy discussion that I don't have time to get into. Or at least it wouldn't be appropriate to put that on my dinner video, which at this point is pretty much the spiritual successor to my compositions. Of which they're not music or anything. I've only really dabbled into making music once so far. Though that could change in the near future. They were called compositions because that was on the cover of the original, I believe, the one of the old books in which I wrote them in. At some point today, I believe it was between after my national security class and before my Senate meeting, or actually I think it was before my national security class, I found out that I had accidentally left out a part. In my dinner, so I deleted it from my YouTube channel as soon as the new U-Cut draft with that extra forgotten 6-minute part included in. I deleted the old one off of my YouTube channel as soon as their new draft was complete, and I started uploading the new version to my YouTube channel, and I've successfully gotten the new version. Onto my YouTube channel. A dream sheep. And cocoons in order to produce night essence, which I need for these 3 research upgrades. I believe I'm the only one who contributed to the Tome of Secrets. And I was right. It's a pretty good relatively low investment requirement for upgrading one of my ancient wonders as I build a new one. This cannoli is pretty good.